Hi guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video I'm going to be showcasing to you my first highlights of my 21st games in the new season. So you can see there on screen my record is as stands. It is 20 games played, 19 wins. So I'm just going to showcase to you guys how I play, like my actual play style, because obviously you see videos on my channel, and if you're a returning subscriber you'll see a lot that I like to grapple, and more so now I'll be learning to strike a bit more to try and improve that aspect of my game to make me a more complete fighter online. But yeah, so I'm just going to showcase to you what I actually do in order to get these wins and give you an insight on decision making and why I do certain things and how to analyze who you're playing against and end up winning. So before we get into the actual gameplay, I just want to say a huge thank you for all the support as of recently. I think I'm on 385 subscribers, which is absolutely crazy to say. So I just want to say a huge thank you to you guys because it does really mean a lot. Sorry this video took about 6 to 7 extra days to upload. I wasn't in the country due to a family emergency, so yeah, as a result of that the upload's been delayed, and I'm just waiting on a thumbnail now from my guy Grapplurr, who makes the best UFC thumbnails. You can check him out in my description. So after I get that thumbnail, this will be going live, and I just want to say I've got a lot of videos planned, but any content suggestions, let me know in the comments below. Any of you guys want to get some fights in, let me know in the comments below. I think I want to try ask Go if he wants to run some games so I can showcase to you, the difference in levels between someone like me and someone like him who's the best player in the game. So I'm going to hit him up on Twitter, see what he's thinking. And I've also got a takedown video coming as well, so just bear with me on those. But you can see here I've taken Kelvin down. I'm using GSP, who's extremely well balanced, and I really like to fight how GSP does. I really try to emulate that performance because GSP was a very complete martial artist, transitioned very well from his striking into his wrestling, very fluid, and that's something that I try and mimic. So you can see as soon as I got him to the ground, instantly was looking for patterns on pre-denying, and I will make a tip video on hitting denials. I can speak about that briefly. So whenever you've got someone in a position that's advantageous, say you're in side control, say you're in side saddle, say you're in crucifix, you always want to deny the position that puts you at the biggest disadvantage, so puts the opponent in a safer position. So that's just a little tip there. You always deny the way that favours your opponent, and after that it's just a pattern game. Normally in 5-round fights it's a lot easier because you have a lot more time to break down your opponent, and you can really start to pick your opponent's game and really start pre-denying very accurately. And you'll see the vast majority of my gameplay will of course be me wrestling. It's me striking to look to wrestle. I am using predominant wrestlers. I think in this gameplay you'll have Henry Cejudo, you've seen on screen now, versus the Snake TJ Dillashaw. You'll have George St. Pierre, you'll have Hamzat Chimaev, and I'm not sure if I'm missing anyone else. I think we have Rafael Dos Anjos as well, who is one of my favourite fighters to use, purely because I think he can mix up everything very well also. So you can see, got TJ Dillashaw to the ground. Once he's on the ground, you know exactly what I'm going to do. Get him into crucifix, deny the first couple transitions, but you've got to be extremely patient because TJ Dillashaw here, or my opponent per se, you can see isn't trying to bump me off, but normally you'll be able to notice because the grapple advantage on top where the rounds are will flicker in your favour. That's when they're trying to bump you off, so always keep an eye out for that, because if you see that going up and up, it means they're really trying to pre-deny you striking with your elbow. So you've got to be very patient, and from this position you can do two types of strike. You can strike with the elbow, or you can punch. Always go for the elbow. Whenever you punch it's really easy to bump off, so bear that in mind. You see, good bit of ground and pound here. Just had him real trapped, and there's not much that you can do in that position if you don't get out. As soon as I deny the first couple, I'm really in an advantageous position. Here we are using RDA, and we're coming up against the current champ Leon Edwards, and this is starting midway through the round just because I'm not sure if that's all I had or if I cropped it out, but basically I'm just showing you the essential parts. And you can see that I've worked Leon onto the ground here. You can see stamina differential is quite big. Head health for Leon isn't in the best position. Here I made a big mistake. This is why I included this part, because I know how this fight finishes. So I included that to show that I was pre-denying up, and this guy went down and ended up getting me in a good position, but opted to get up. And if I'm right, I think this is the only knockout of the video. I think all the rest of my fights, to be honest, were like on the ground. So enjoy this knockout if you will. It'll be the only one of the video. But you can see getting pressured here. And with teeps, the one thing you want to do is sidestep. I mean, look at that finish. That is nothing short of beautiful. Whenever you know your opponent's going to teep, if you sidestep, it leaves them with a huge vulnerability, and if you can capitalize correctly, it's going to be very easy for you. And starting this fight off here, I am using Khamzat Chimaev versus Gilbert Burns. What a fantastic fight that was. And quickly, just to pick everyone's brain, think about it like this. So Sean O'Malley versus Petr Yan, you saw that O'Malley won the decision because of damage done, and of course O'Malley's a huge hype train for the UFC. And now if you watch the Gilbert Burns fight with Khamzat Chimaev, who had more damage done across the 3 rounds? It was Gilbert Burns with significant strikes. So I don't know, I just find that stat pretty interesting. But yeah, and I don't know how Gilbert Burns' knockdown didn't count as a knockdown, but anyway, straying away from that, you can see good use of ground and pound here. And here I'm against a very dangerous fighter, because Gilbert Burns off his back is absolutely phenomenal, amazing jiu-jitsu. And we're in his full guard right now, so he's got an array of submissions. He's also got rubber guard, so you need to really be careful for that. And you know when you're coming up against someone with rubber guard, they will look to utilize it, and you've got to deny the side that the hand is on your neck. That's just a quick tip on denying the rubber guard. And you can see getting to top mount here, and whenever you're against someone that's elite on their back, you've got to be very careful and very precautious. And it's very important that you are aware and have an understanding of what skill set that fighter has, what transitions they have. Do they have the twister from this position? Do they have the Kimura? Because if they have the Kimura and they deny your transition, they go for it. It's a very good submission to get. It's a very good submission to fake off of as well. From side control here, do they have the transition to full guard, which in this case he does, because his jiu-jitsu is very high level. Do they have a Darce choke? And it's just aspects like that you've got to start familiarizing yourself on, because it's those little details that can really build you up and make you a 10 times better fighter. So I always try to really study the game in a way. Obviously I don't sit there with a book and or a notepad and write stuff down, but I really try and memorize that when I'm using these fighters. So whenever I use Gilbert Burns, I know exactly what transitions he has. So when I'm coming up against Gilbert Burns, I know exactly what transitions he has. So yeah, I think that's something that's very important and maybe not as utilized per se by some of the lower division players. And here we're coming into another fight here versus Figgin. I'm using Triple C, and Triple C is one of my go-to picks. Like, I really like using Henry. I think he's absolutely phenomenal on the game. He's got decent leg kicks as well. Obviously striking isn't the best, but you can definitely strike with him. I mean, to put it into context, if you're an elite striker, for instance someone like Goat, who I referenced earlier on in the video, Goat 1099 that is, he fought, I believe it was Naz in a rematch on Online Ranked, and he was completely outboxing him, and Naz was using Petr Yan, and he was absolutely outboxing with Henry Cejudo. So it just goes to show you that it's more than possible that if you're an elite enough striker, you can definitely utilize Henry Cejudo striking. Like I'm saying, I'm definitely not elite striker per se. I'm someone that's getting better. I'd still not say I'm anywhere near elite. I'd probably just say I'm a good level striker, but it's at a point where it's good enough for me to get my wrestling involved. And yeah, that's the main thing for me, because I just really want to look to wrestle. And going into another Khamzat Chimaev fight, and here we are against the former welterweight champion, the new welterweight challenger. I can't wait for that fight to be in England. I think it's going to be in Cardiff actually, but regardless, I'll still be going to that because that'll be a crazy event. So you see that Kamaru Usman takes me down here. I'm going to be patient. I can cage walk if I need to be. And you can see I'm very patient here. Look, little punches, and I'm waiting to see where he's going. Look, he's faking a lot. He's wasting a lot of stamina. Get the deny, transition straight to half guard. And that sweep is one of the best sweeps in the game. Pre-deny, he's transitioned to full guard. And once you're on top of Kamaru Usman, it's fairly straightforward. He doesn't offer much in terms of submission threat, either off the bottom or the top, to be honest with you. So yeah, I'm never really too worried. Get the deny here. I go for the necktie, and this is another thing that I believe more people have to do, and this is where the sort of skill gap element comes into it, where you're fighting an elite fighter and fighting someone that's maybe on the path to become an elite fighter but not just yet, is decision making. So there I knew I wasn't going to get the submission. Instead of riding it out, I cancel, opt to take Usman's back. He has to rotate, and now I've ended up in top mount, and here all I need is one simple deny because his stamina's low, and I can shoot for the armbar. So it's just that bit of knowledge and the bit of fight IQ that, you know, I knew I wasn't going to get that first submission because I was just not doing a very good job, even though Usman had no stamina. I knew that I could deny it, he'd still be on low stamina, so I can drift straight off to backside. For backside, I can then jump on top of his back, and then I ended up with me on mount, get the deny. I could have postured up for ground and pound, but the submission was there for the taking, and I've got a very good success rate when it comes to armbar submissions. Anything that transitions to an armbar is probably my favourite submission, so I'm very confident when it comes to that, and we get another submission victory there. And moving on to the next fight, you can see, I think this is starting off on round 2. You can see the stats for round 1 before we got into it. You can see I had 4 minutes of control time. That's a lot of control time for one round. That's definitely a 10-8, and this is the final fight of the video. The other clips were more of the same, to be honest with you, and some of the fights were a little bit laggy, so I chose not to include those. So I'm only including the ones that I think that you guys can really see off, and you can see that it doesn't always start off with me on the ground. Every fight starts on the feet, but it's more showing you guys what I do in order to get that fight onto the ground and where I'm at the advantage. I would have shown more videos of me knocking out guys. I think earlier I said I only have one knockout, which is the one I included in the video. That's not actually true. I had a couple TKOs, but the fights were a little bit laggy, so I try not to show you guys laggy content because it's just extremely awful to watch. And you can see here I'm against Demetrius Johnson, snuck in that uppercut beautifully, and I'm raining on the pressure here. And I like having my opponent against the fence, to be honest with you, because that's normally where I shoot takedowns. But after I threw that combination, I was a little bit tired, so in terms of load management, I knew not to shoot it. We got the stun, I saw his stamina was low, spear straight into the takedown, straight into the crucifix, and you guys know what's coming from here. So before the video ends, I just want to say again, thank you for the huge support. Really appreciate it. If you are new around here, don't forget to subscribe for more UFC 4 content. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like. Any criticisms or suggestions, please leave it in the comments below. I do get back to that, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.